LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Tap the banner or visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Oh, what a week it has been. You wanted positivity or something, but you got me instead. This is the Orange and Black SoccerCast. Now, I promise I'm not actually all that down on this week, even though it was, not ideal. But you'll get more than my thoughts this week. First up, let's bring him on. There he is. Hey, Larry.
Hi. What's happening?
Other than having too short of a beard, how's your week going?
My week is going absolutely fantastic. I mean, I could not be happier with life in general. Except that my beard's actually too long for my taste right now.
Well, summer's here. So, and, Santa, you've got about 8.5 months before you better get back into some chimneys. So
absolutely. Let's go.
Keep growing. All right. Next up this week, I almost said weekend. Excuse me. Matt. Matt, welcome back to the show.
Howdy do.
Oh, just another joyous evening. How are you doing this week?
Doing okay. It's you want to win, obviously, but it's just it's early in the season. Still got some hope. Still feeling okay. Things will get better, and we're still in fourth, so it could be worse. We could be bottom and looking at a 1-0 loss and scoring 3 total goals this season or whatever it's been.
I mean, we've only lost 1 game.
Yeah, it's fine.
That might be the only loss we have all season.
We're not playing terribly. So that's the thing. We're not scoring goals, but overall, it's not terrible. So it's fine.
I feel like that's actually a pretty honest take. Of course, if you somehow have blighted it from your mind, Orange County this past week, managing a loss in the Cup to exit the Open Cup to Phoenix in extra time, and also losing on the road. Sorry, losing to New Mexico. Yeah, here we are. What can you say? Losing on the road. Not yet, actually. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start, Larry. I feel like you probably have some more interesting thoughts on the match against Phoenix. So take it away, my friend.
I thought we were a little bit sloppy against Phoenix. I think that we missed some chances where we've got to put it away, and we'll address that further when we get to talking about New Mexico. But this mistake by Rando, it happens. It's happened to every goalkeeper on the planet, I'm sure. It's just, and you can see he stumbles before he even goes to swing for the ball. It's a tough way to give up a goal, and it's even tougher when that is the only goal that is given up in the game. So it was disappointing. I was expecting more from us against Phoenix. I really thought that we were going to be able to close this down and move on to the next round. But it didn't work out that way. And let's be honest, who wants to win the silly cup anyway? We don't. Orange County doesn't do that. We're above those, domestic cups, right? Right.
We're all about the title at the end of the year. Yeah, that's, no one wants to be celebrating in August when all eyes are on the prize come November, excuse me. I am curious. I do wish Ray was not blowing us off for a Clipper game right now, or Clippers game right now, so he can answer, if his beloved Clippers were to win the NBA Cup thing that they do. I don't know, maybe Matt knows what it is. Would he be happy, or would you really just want to win it all at the end? I mean, if Major League Baseball did something, or if hockey did something like that, or if the Super Bowl had a cup, if the NFL had a cup competition, I don't know. It's fine. There's still another cup, so we could also be celebrating in August.
Like the Clippers fans would be ecstatic to win something. So.
I feel like the Clippers fans would be ecstatic. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Could not be us because we've actually won things in recent memory. So what a life. I do want to give credit to what was a pretty well taken finish under a good amount of pressure there. So I think, to echo you, Matt, it's fair. We don't actually play that poorly, and we're just missing that finishing touch at the moment. Elder, any other thoughts about this match?
The Phoenix game, I guess I'll apologize for saying we don't have a curse or whatever. Maybe I jinxed it. Who knows? It's one of those games, right? Like, it could have gone either way. Both teams had chances. Goes to extra time. The header, Vukovic gets a good jump on it.
And nobody bodied him.
I mean, I think they kind of tried. I thought maybe there's an argument for a foul in the kind of lead up to it, but you could also argue we made a foul on that one as well. So I don't know. Yeah, right there. Look, I mean, Silla's shot right there goes in. We go to pens. Maybe we win. Was happy to see Rakovsky. I wasn't at the game, but was happy to see him go, and they showed him high-fiving the fans on the way out, which was really nice. Yeah, man, it sucks. You want to win the cup games, especially. I'd love to make a run some year. At least get to that kind of round where we're getting to go up against the big guns, but it wasn't to be this time. And on to the USL Cup,
the one that matters.
Exactly.
Talking about
now that we're out of this one.
Should have been called Malort Cup, but now is named after some tire company, I believe. We're talking about that one.
Brinks Tires.
Brinks Tire. Yeah, sure. Sponsor us, please. I don't know. This one I'm fine with. Again, it's early in the season, and Orange County, despite maybe feels a little down after this week because it was two pretty. Yes, please.
Real quick, does anybody know a place that sells Brinks tires? Anybody? If you're in the comments, Instagram, you're in YouTube comments, has anyone ever seen a Brinks tire for sale somewhere?
Brinks tires are budget-friendly, reputable tires manufactured in China by Brinks Chengsan, often featuring German-engineered designs.
Thank you for your ability to read what sounds like an AI overview on Google. Producer Andy, I'm sure wherever they're sold, New Rock owns the building.
Walmart.
Wonderful. Realistically, we're doing okay. I mean, if we discount the cup, we've already forgotten about it. I'm just glad we didn't wear a one-off jersey for it this year. That's always a good start. What cup? What are you talking about? We're all about the league here. That's all that matters. We're still in fourth. So that's a home playoff spot. We just need to hang out here the rest of the season.
I will say the bummer to me is that we started we played our full team and lost. That's always kind of a bummer. It's one of those hindsight 50-50 type of things or 2020 things where you're like, man, maybe we should have rested the starters and then had a better, stronger team for New Mexico. So when you lose both, then you start to be like, oh, dang. That's a regret.
It's a rough one, definitely. And it maybe was a little bit rougher to lose to Phoenix and then watch Phoenix play over the weekend and just kind of wonder, wow, we really were just what feels like a foot away from going and continuing on in this cup. We were unlucky, I think, more than anything else. But to completely move on from the cup, not ideal. Larry, look, you got the first-hand footage. You were a Zapruder, I guess, in this situation, or whoever actually shot the initial footage.
That's me.
Whatever. Take it away, my friend.
For starters, let's talk about the fact that both of those two games we had possession 60-40. In both those two games, we only put up one goal. Do you want to go to the handball now? You want to do that now?
Let's give it a second. Why don't you just give me your overall thoughts?
I think we played a very, very good game on Saturday. On Saturday, we took care of the ball, something like 87% on our passes. Again, 60-40 on possession. The penalty that they called on Rando was a very, very soft penalty, which obviously gave New Mexico their goal. And just at the end of the day, we could have won this game. I think that we should have won this game. We had a ridiculous amount of touches inside the final third, but we just could not finish, obviously. We are going to need to start scoring goals, and we're going to need to start scoring goals like yesterday, because this is not sustainable for however many league games. What do we got? 30 league games in a season now. This is not sustainable for 25 more games. We've got to start putting some balls into the back of the net. I mean, we were moving the ball. I mean, look at this move here. This is great. And Chris Haggard doing Chris Haggard things and just coming a little bit wide. But at the end of the day, again, we took care of the ball. We didn't make a lot of dumb passes. There weren't a lot. There was no silly little mistakes. So yeah, we got a little bit hard done in this one. It's a tough break.
It's a tough break. Elder, I'll come to you in a minute, but it's time to crash out. He's back, I think for the first time in consecutive weeks. Chris Walker, welcome back to the Orange and Black SoccerCast. And run us through a New Mexican's view.
Vantage point.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm definitely probably not the ones that are out here saying, "Oh man, what a great performance! Man, what a great win!" That's not probably my vantage point. I speak for myself. When it comes down to it, I think what you can say about it being a good win or a good performance from them is that they got themselves in that situation, right? So they found themselves in a situation where they're up 1-0 due to the keeper being very involved and getting some ear clapping action going on Niall Reed-Steven. And of course, he puts the ball in the back. So now they got to defend this, right? While still trying to be somewhat offensive and try to find another goal to make it more of an insurance. And, they really struggled in that final third. Make no mistake, as far as I'm concerned, from the watch party I was sitting at, we were left to desire a lot. The lineup, I just didn't think the right personnel was in together. But I went home right after and I was like, okay, what was the thing about this lineup? And the thing about this lineup was this is the lineup minus one or two pieces with Will Seymour being on the bench that won 3-2 against Colorado. This is not exactly the lineup that lost 4-0 to El Paso. So it's like, when you consider that, you're like, well, this lineup should have then put on a little bit more of an attacking effort. And, that 3-2 game at that was like, I didn't walk away from that game going, oh man, we're back. It was just like, we were down 1-0 and then we managed to put 2 on and then, let one go and then find one at the death. And, I just, that's kind of what I'm thinking from my vantage point is like the Orange County game, like y'all had a lot of shots. You had a lot of shots, you had a lot of efforts back
14.
there. What's that?
14.
Yeah. And so that doesn't surprise me. It became a very defensive match, obviously, Shakes, did well, but I also think he kind of created some of his own issues, and they're not so tight to be playing in the back like that like they could just draw teams down and then send it over the top. That's just not a part of the profile. I know it's what they want to do, but it's just not something that is tight enough to do that. And then obviously advancing it through the midfield, fine, okay. But that final third, like, just was where it just went chaos. And, so, just as it's looking at the halftime stats, it's like we're looking at that and we're like, oh, this is underwhelming. We're not passing, and when I was on here last week, I was talking about how we probably passed, 500 or 600 times, and we got that down to maybe about 300-400. But this, after the first half, it was so underwhelming. It was like, wow, like we're not doing enough, right? And it's just kind of been this performance each match. It's nothing's really been convincing, So the fact that we can walk away with a win, it's like it's not something that I'm like, yeah, man, we got the dub. Like, it's just not that for me. I know it's 3 points, and I know other people would celebrate it because, when your club's not winning a lot or isn't doing a lot in the recent years, like, you're going to take anything. But I personally think that they got to figure out the final third, and, they really got to put the right dudes out there. I don't know. There's just something about it that this isn't really playing together correctly.
Well, Chris, you guys are only 4 matches into the season, as it were, so it takes some time. Matt, back to you and back to kind of the Orange County side of things. If you'll give me your thoughts overall on this match, as well as answer. Obviously, not a great week for Rando back there, but is he at fault? As soft as a pen as it was for that one?
Yeah, 100%. I'll definitely start by saying I think Cadona has to start the next match. Personally, just if nothing else, just to send a message. You can't make 2 very bad mistakes in a row in back-to-back games and not get dropped for at least a game. That those are like, obviously the Phoenix one is egregious and like just can't happen at this level. As Larry said, it does happen. I'm not going to say he like should be, binned for the rest of the season, but you can't make that mistake. And it's, I'm all for, Coach Stone starting him in this game, saying, hey, mistakes happen, get back out there. You can't flap at that cross, come out and just, it was a little soft, but like he missed. He just flat out missed and hit the guy. Like it's no argument on the penalty for me. So I would at least for a game, if Cadona doesn't have a great game, then put him right back in. But that would probably be my first thing. Overall performance, it's funny listening to Chris there because I think it's funny you can have kind of 2 perspectives here. I've been saying so far this season that the results are all that matters this early in the season, right? As long as you get the 3 points, who cares? There's the rest of the season to go to kind of gel together and put in better performances. However, I do take Chris's point. I think, especially when you lose, I think it's a little easier to have the perspective, right? It's the cope of, like maybe we're not getting the results, but as long as you have a good performance, the results will come. So that's kind of the flip side of the coin that I've been kind of arguing so far this season. So I definitely agree there. Even if you're not getting results, if you're seeing good performances and you're maybe just getting unlucky, having like kind of what we had, a penalty that just doesn't go your way and we just can't find the back of the net, but like, hey, we had a really good performance, then I'd be kind of feeling differently. As Larry said, man, we got to find the back of the net. I don't think we're defensively sound enough to rely on 1-0s, 0-0s, 1-1s to carry us through this season. So I think we'll need to start at least getting 1 or 2 a game, especially depending on kind of how the goalkeeper situation goes. But yeah, I'm not, as I said in the beginning of the show, I'm not dooming yet. I'm not sitting here thinking it won't work out. Very sad to hear. I don't know if we talked about it on the show that Bunbury's out for the season. Larry dropping that news on us right before the match started on Saturday. Thank you, Larry.
So it's his
So
fault. It's Larry's fault. So we're clear.
Probably, pretty much, yeah. That's what I'm saying. So hearing he's out for the season, that's one of our wingers that had a couple bright sparks in the last two games leading up to this one. I don't know if Jameer Johnson's hurt or if he was at the USA Youth, I think, right? So getting him back will be big. We've had some reasons to maybe not be as good as we could be. Again, like Duty coming back is huge. That can push War up. That's a really good offensive right back right there that might help with a little attacking flair. So I could see a lot of like little things that give me some hope, or at least, okay, let's kind of in the next 3-4 games, let's see how things change, see how things go. But yeah, I mean, not happy to lose 2 games in a row at home, but
I feel bad for you guys, man, honestly, because I wish that we would have just given you a little bit more of a match for you to get that loss at home, because that 1-0 to me looks like we held the ball possession wise a little bit and then just really shut you guys down and then gave it to you for like 60%, and then y'all just couldn't like convert, and that was what it should be, right? But just everything kind of points in a different direction. It's like, no, you had a little bit more possession and you had your chances created. Just, the defensive New Mexico is just twice as defensive for their lack of offense, or lack of attack rather. You know what I mean? So somewhere they had to be good, right? And that's where they had to kind of be good. And like I said, that pen, that conversation of the pen, I've seen the comments on Instagram. I think a player even like lets y'all like kind of hear a couple words, which is kind of funny. But
you mean clown the hell out of him?
I had to screenshot that, like, lucky in it, because I'd never really seen that like happen from our side, so it was kind of funny.
Well, that was me who took the video. That was me who posted the video. That was me who tagged him in the video.
Oh, you did tag him to it.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
I thought maybe he just
wanted
happened
him
to
to
see
see
it by the algorithm.
No, and that frozen picture of it as I passed by him on the sidelines.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, I had that on my camera, and I walked by him and I said, "Man, you look really good in this picture." And he took a look at my phone and realized what I was showing him. He's like, "Oh yeah," and he walked away.
I mean, you should have just got him to like sign your phone too while you're at it.
Should have ran on the field and showed the ref, Larry.
Autograph,
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, I was showing everybody.
That one,
hilarious.
I mean, our section went crazy when that happened, and I can see both sides on that one. It did hit his arm, as I'm guessing I didn't see the picture, but I'm guessing that's what the picture showed.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like it definitely hit his arm. It's one of those ones where, like, was it in a natural position? Not really, but like, was he? I know they're trying to make it so that, like, if you're really close to the player, and he was kind of right on that line of, like, I think he was probably like 5 yards away, maybe a little less. So it's like one of those, like, would he have had time to move his arm out of the way? Or,
I mean,
I can see why it wasn't given, but
I don't know how you slide in with your arms next to your body. I mean, like, unless you're like doing a luge, but I mean,
hold on, let me address this particular point.
Go ahead.
Okay, I played baseball my whole life, from 6 years old to 18 years old and 20 years old. I can tell you that every time I ever slid into any base, second base, third base, home plate, I did not slide with my hands above my head. Never once.
Now let me ask you this.
That's not how you slide.
Well, let me ask you this though. Okay.
Yes.
So how many times in baseball did you slide in on your butt? Because I mean, for me, I'm probably picking a predominant side to slide in on, honestly. Like, I'm not going in like booty up, just for the lack of better words,
Well, I was 50-50 on my slides when I played ball, sliding feet first versus head first. But I can tell you that sliding feet first, I never did it with my hands like this. This is not a natural position for your hands to be in when you are sliding. And I don't care if you're playing soccer. I don't care if you're playing baseball. I don't care what sport you're playing.
I don't think his hands were like that necessarily. I think
social media challenge for those that are more active, and I'm probably looking at you, Dylan. Go on out there on some grass and give us a recreation of this slide. Like, go slide naturally and see if we can get this out of it. Because I think if you're going booty up like this, like where his feet are flailing, I think those arms are coming up. I don't think they're staying down, honestly. We can look.
Thank you for this discourse. I really do love that we're all getting involved here. I will say, I think, just to throw some opinion into it, this is, you're turning your body away from it. You're really just lunging at it. Like, this isn't a controlled movement by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, you probably have to just call this one if you're the ref. And I think my biggest disappointment is that it was really right in front of him. But at the end of the day, Orange County actually does need to score a goal here. And it's not like our 2.2 expected goals or what. I'm going to get absolutely destroyed for even bringing up XG, but that didn't even include the 0.75 you'd get for having a pen. So Orange County should have done better.
Hey, I want to get on that point.
Unnecessarily hated stat in the world. XG is a very good stat, and I hate the amount of hate that it gets.
Thank you, Matt.
I want to get on Dylan's
truly
point. Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, thank you, Chris. I was going to say, Larry talked about how much possession we've had, and that's largely, that's kind of a worthless stat because he just passed the ball around, but we actually got it into places. Well, again, we just couldn't finish.
It's worthless for that reason, but it's also something to keep in mind whenever you look at possession is we were losing for most of that game. So when you're losing, you're going to have more of the ball. The other team's going to sit back. I think someone brought up our possession was less in the games that we won. And for a lot of those games, we were winning for large portions of the game. So, of course, we were just kind of sitting back, defending, not trying to hold the ball too much, being a little safer with it by just kind of getting rid of it. So that's also something to keep in mind when you look at possession stats is what percentage of the game was the team losing, and how does that reflect what you would kind of expect for possession stats? Usually the team that loses or is losing for a long portion of the game is going to have a higher possession stat.
Look at us. Hey, we're doing highbrow stuff. Chris, yes, please.
Let me throw a personal poll out here, and we'll get it interactive. All those watching, if you're in favor of this next thing, you got to throw little oranges in the comments, okay? That's going to be your positive reactor here. All right, so personal poll, guys. Like, hands raised if you think that your team should score a goal, and rather than your fans or you appealing for a penalty to get the goal.
I feel like you should maybe not have us raise hands on an audio first format.
Say aye.
Okay.
Say aye or nay.
Well, okay, you can say aye or nay too, but like people are watching you right now, so we're gonna get both. So it's aye in the hands raised, or it's nay and you leave your hand down. Okay. So would you rather your team score the goal, right? Or are you in the camp of, hey man, I'll take the pen? Like, because for me, it's like I don't like when our fans appeal, like want to get, they're like really like love that like LeBronism, you know, like, oh man, he looked at him, like, you know, I don't like that. Like, I'm not one who's in the camp of appealing for penalties to get scores to win games. I like to.
I'm gonna cop out right now and say I'd like to score a goal. You're right, but I'd also like if a pen that is a pen to be called a pen. So
yep. So you're in that camp of like you'll take the fall down guy.
If it's a foul, yeah.
But when it's not.
Okay, well, if it's not, then it's not. So that's I don't like diving, but to me, if it is, then it is. You know,
and this
guy killed my poll, but okay.
I do
just
like
I said, yours was. You know, it's like, do you think yours was, and do you think would you rather have scored otherwise? I guess, and not have gotten that penalty.
If that didn't get called, I'm not in the camp of like trying to get it called. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it got called, so that's what it was. But if it didn't get called, I'm not like huffing on the stands, wanting the call just to feel like that was the way we were going to win. If that makes sense to you.
Okay.
So I'm not in the camp of LeBron fallbacks, if you will.
So what we've learned here is
like a good old point.
None of us can describe what exactly a penalty it is, but we'll know it when we see it. Just one kind of final positive note on this match. Yeah. I believe it's been 49 weeks since he tore his ACL, but welcome back, Grayson Duty. I look forward to some more nose pinching, hand swatting gestures hopefully soon, because we certainly need it. And yeah, massive congratulations to him, because that is a nasty injury and that is a very, very long recovery.
354 days since he last played.
How many minutes?
There you go.
I can't do. I'm not smart enough for that math.
He's not that good at math.
And the only reason I know how many minutes there are in a year is because of the musical Rent. Okay, sorry.
Man, if Brad were on, he'd give us the minutes. I know it.
Probably.
He certainly would. Chris, are you staying with us, or is this where you depart, my friend?
This is where I'll probably depart. Maybe I'll pop in the comments, but I definitely wanted to get on after this. But you guys just send me a text when the Crash Out pod begins, and I'll jump back on for that.
My friend, we're crashing out already. Actually, we'll see how tomorrow night against San Antonio goes, and it might be a Crash Out pod next week.
Sounds good.
Chris Walker from the State of the United podcast. Chris, thank you for coming back again.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, y'all.
Thanks, Chris.
Peace. Worry not. You actually just don't have to listen to the three of us for the next 30 minutes. I am so very happy to welcome back Harry. He's been around the USL for a hot minute these days. It's been a while since you've been on the show even, but Harry, welcome back all the way from San Antonio.
Thank you. I thought I got a red card the last time, so I've served my time. I think that's why Ray's not here. All honestly, I know you mentioned that he wanted to go to a Clippers game. Why would anybody go to a Clippers game? Who knows? But here I am. Too. Although they are winning, but they're playing Dallas, so it is what it is.
I think that means it's not an impressive win, but the only thing I know is that the Kings are really bad. It's not a basketball podcast, and that's fine. Harry, I do appreciate you coming on. God knows what that red card suspension was for. Probably some sort of violent conduct, if I had to guess. It's been a few years. Will you just... It's been a crazy week for Orange County, as you may have guessed, as the last 30 minutes may have even suggested. Will you run us through what the first 4 or 5 matches have been like for San Antonio?
So for San Antonio, to me, it kind of started like last year. I'm hoping we don't have the same ending as last year. They came out well, very defensive this year. The only goal that they've allowed is a PK to Phoenix in the first game in league play. They did play Tulsa in Open Cup and went to extra time, lost in 1-0 at home. So like you guys, we did lose at home in Open Cup to another USL championship team. To me, the disappointing part is we went to Monterey Bay and we had a 0-0 draw, which Monterey Bay in their form, to me, that was kind of a loss. Very defensive. We had, San Antonio plays very well defensively, but I guess kind of very similar to Orange County. They're struggling on putting the ball in the back of the net. I think we have 5 goals and you guys have 4 goals, or maybe vice versa. Yeah, we've scored 5. You guys have scored 4. So it'll be interesting to see who can score on this game. Last match, we had 60% of the possession as well, but no shots on goal. So it was one of those frustrating games where they'd move the ball up to the final third, couldn't break them down, work it all the way back, try back up. And it was just, to me, it was a game where, and they did a lot of player rotation, to be fair, but it was one of those games where you just kind of sit back and you're like, they're just trying for the road draw, which against Monterey Bay, you would like to get a little bit more than that, in my opinion, but it's not an L. So for San Antonio, I think they're first place right now? Yeah, because El Paso has only played 4 games. So we've got 11 points, 3 wins, 2 draws. I know you guys have the 1 loss this past week to New Mexico, which probably should have been a draw. Unlike Chris, give me the PK. I don't care how it comes for that here. But to me, it's going to Orange County for San Antonio is always tough. I still haven't forgot the Western Conference Championship final that went to PKs, which you guys won and which ended up winning your title in Tampa. I think it was Tampa that year, right? in Tampa. So it's always a fun game. It's always a physical game. I was reading on social media that both teams, I think, are in top 5 as far as fouls given. So it'll probably be a choppy game for that here, but who knows?
Who knows? Harry, thank you for a wonderful rundown. I saw he's managed to score this season. Alex Cronoli, formerly of Orange County at one point. Will you run us? I mean, he's certainly a more senior figure in the league at this point than he was when he was with Orange County. Run us through. Is he the heart of the defense? What's going on with him these days?
He's one of the key. Mitchell Tanner's still probably the heart and the captain. San Antonio is running 3 center backs for that here. They got. Make sure I get his name here. So they're running 3 center backs. Typically, it's Tanner. Let me switch the lineup here. Tanner, Barbier, and Cronelli. Barbier is on loan from the New England Revolution. So defensively, very, very strong, very experienced. Our goalkeeper, I'm hoping will be Joey Petrini, who's a second year out of the University of Virginia, San Antonio native, graduated from Lee High School for that here. So defensively, like I said here, very, very solid. Cronelli, Tainter, Barbier, very solid. My thing is they're kind of weak against speed, especially on the outside, but they're very tall, very physical. So I think they'll be able to hold their own. My concern in kind of some of the games that we've seen is if they play a team that has speed on the outside, that has kind of opened San Antonio up a little bit for that here. Midfield, I do think they're very strong in with Mikey Maldonado and Jorge Hernandez. Pirano is playing more up top. Dmitry Irvov, and I can never pronounce his name, but he's a young Russian kid that they signed last year. Didn't do a whole lot, but year 2, he's really kind of stepped up. And like I said here, from the midfield perspective, a lot harder to break down San Antonio compared to last year. I think the midfield, especially with Mikey Maldonado, who came over from North Carolina, has solidified the midfield. To me, the key is trying to get the scoring, whether it's Patino or I think it's EJ Johnson, along those lines up top, with Jorge and Pirano, and they've got a couple other teams. I will say for San Antonio, they're deeper than I thought with the signings. So they kept a good core, and the players that they brought back, the new additions, so far early on have shown that they're a very deep team. So they've been able to do a lot of rotation as far as player rotation, because we had 2 games last week, we got 2 games this week. So it'll be interesting to see the lineup that they come out with. I'm assuming with the player rotation against Monterey Bay, where they kind of sacrificed the points a little bit for that, thinking that they could get away with it. And fair play to Monterey Bay, they played well. But I'm hoping for San Antonio that they do come out with their A team to try to push and get to 3 points against Orange County.
Well, I certainly hope they don't, but I appreciate your sympathies there, Harry. Larry, I believe you had a question.
Yeah, Harry, when a team plays 5 games to start the season and they only give up 1 goal in league, obviously they're doing something right. And I'm curious, just in your opinion, has it been stellar play from Bertroni? Am I saying that right? Bertroni?
Yeah. It's the defense. It's the back line.
Or is it the back line?
It's the back line and midfield. San Antonio, they don't park the bus, so they're not like back in the Alan Marcina days, where they just kind of sit back and counter and press and foul a lot. I know the last game they fouled a lot, don't get me wrong, against Monterey Bay, but to me, just the back line they have, they got Akeem Ward, and then Cuello or Nelson Blanco on the other side. So defensively, they're very experienced. They're they played well for a couple of seasons now, a lot of them, and just to me they're a hard team to break down for it here. So the goalkeeper, to be honest with you, is probably the weakest part of this team, with Richard Sanchez, who I don't know how he's still in the league, but he's still in the league. He started the last game. I'm assuming Joey Petroni will be the starter because he started most games for San Antonio in the league. So to me, Joey's came up big. He's still a young goalkeeper, so there has been a couple of mistakes that he's got away with, especially on delivering the ball out. His distribution's probably his weakest part, but he's a tall, young goalkeeper that I could see, if developed right, could possibly move up to MLS or go overseas, because he's what, 22, 23, I guess, graduated from college, so probably around that young age there. But for goalkeepers, that's still kind of young. But to me, for Joey Petroni, like I said, he's our clear number one. And like I said, I'm looking forward to see with the growth that he continues to get. It'll be to be playing in a tough road environment will be good for him. Good test there at Championship Park, I think it's what it's called here.
Stadium.
Or Championship Stadium.
Yeah. One more for you, Harry. If you are the gaffer for San Antonio, you've only given up one goal again. That's very impressive. You're playing against a team that is struggling to put balls in the back of the net. What are you telling your team right before you go out on the pitch?
I still think you got to hold defensively, because that's Coach Lamosa is a defensive coach. He came in, that was his thing here. I do think, and I know I joked kind of before thing, hey, do we think anybody's going to score in this game? Just because I think both teams do play defensively, which is to their strength. However, I do think both teams have the firepower if it does open up to where they can score, and some of it's just unlucky. There's been a few shots that excellent goalkeeping from the opposition. Some of it's just been just unlucky shots, deflections along those lines. So to me, like I said, the goal scoring will come, but as long as you can maintain that defensive presence, that defensive style, let's be honest with these, if you're only allowing one goal a game or less than a goal a game, generally speaking, most times you're going to come out with a win through here. And like I said here, if you're not allowing any goals, you're coming away with a point. And to me, if you win your 3 points at home and you're able to grab, a road draw, especially against a top 4 team like Orange County, that's, to me, that's not a bad result. If, let's say, we would have won, if we would have got the 3 points against Monterey Bay and Drew got the home, Drew against Orange County, I think that would have been acceptable, for the 2-game California trip, to draw 4 points in a back-to-back. But to me, dropping that point or dropping those points in Monterey Bay, from a San Antonio fan, I want the 3 points in Orange County. And I think they have the leadership to be able to do it. But obviously, Orange County is also coming off of kind of a poor weekend probably for them, listening to your guys' show and knowing the quality that Orange County puts out. Losing to Phoenix is never fun. And then losing to New Mexico, how they lost, probably
Even less fun.
probably leaves a little bit of a sour taste, especially where where I felt that should have been a draw at least along those lines. But sometimes that's how the game goes.
And Brad, who Brad, he's part of the show. He put a question in the audience. Which SAFC are we more likely to see? The one that started off strong, or the one that has not scored a goal in its last 2 matches?
That's the $1 million question, right? I think defensively they're going to be strong. I think just time-wise, I do think there'll be goals in this game, and I do think both teams will score, just because I think the quality on both sides, the opportunities are there. They just haven't converted. And like I said here, I don't see it being a high-scoring game by any means. But I could see a 2-1 game along those lines here, but it just to me, like I said, Orange County, San Antonio is always a tight game. As a San Antonio fan, I would love to see goals, but I'm assuming as an Orange County fan, you're like no goals. So.
Right. That's all from me. I think Matty Elder has got a couple for you, Harry. So Matt,
Sure.
All you, bud.
Yeah, I guess one question I would ask is, we're both kind of struggling for goals here a little bit. It's working out better for you guys, but what's something that you would change if given the role of manager, let's say, for a day, to try to address that?
So that's kind of tough because the one piece where I think San Antonio is missing, because with Pirano and Jorge Hernandez, they're both very attack-minded along those lines here, but they haven't got the ball into Patino in positions where he can score. That's probably the thing I would like to do, is to see if they could try to get Patino, who's hopefully going to be our starter, into a position where in the middle where he can actually convert. It just, to me, if I'm coming off of the Monterey game, you gotta have, if you've got the possession 60% of the time, you've got to have the desire to be able to put the ball on frame along those lines here. Having 60+% of the possession and no shots on goal, that to me is a poor performance, offensively, and that's something that hopefully they addressed. I don't know if they came home. I don't think they would, but who knows if they did. But to me, getting Patino, because our center forwards have not scored yet, that's the one area that I would like to see kind of be more of a pressing point. But breaking down the OC defense in the middle, as we have seen, has not been easy either. So
cool. Don, I'll take it back to you. Or is there anything else?
Let's make some predictions, because after all, us four are league geniuses over here. You will get no clout and no points for suggesting that very few goals will be scored in this match. But all the same, Harry, who's winning this match and what's the score going to be?
I'm going to go 1-0 San Antonio.
An inspired choice. Larry.
Who else? Yeah.
This is probably the most difficult game I think we've had all season to predict. We don't score. They don't give up goals. We don't give up a lot of goals. 0-0 will not surprise me, but I think that I think we're going to find one, and I think we're going to hold that clean sheet, and I'm going to say 1-0 Orange County.
Okay, I'll take it. Matt, before I head to you, Brad has chimed in and he's said 1-1 with dozens of happy dogs. Yeah, it is
pups on the pitch.
Pups on the pitch. Bring your dogs, everybody. And yeah, if you do have any predictions, please let us know now after Matt.
I do have a theory that the games where you expect it to be a 0-0 are the ones that just some magic shit happens. I'm going to go 3-1 Orange County.
Oh, wow.
Bold.
I want to say it's going to be 4-3, something crazy, just end to end the whole time. Never mind you playing 3 at the back. Yeah, give me some chaos. I would actually like to, be entertained for 90+ minutes here. I think it's hard to look past the 0-0 draw here. I think both teams are obviously really struggling to score goals right now, and at some point, the fear of conceding is going to creep in and slow things down. So, I don't see us getting too much out of this one, and that's okay, because after all, like we said earlier, it's still early in the season. It's not time to panic yet. Do any of the three of you have any final thoughts of this match? Go ahead, Harry.
I will say, just looking at the head-to-head, most of these games are 1-goal games, with the exception, there have been 4 looks like 4 blowouts. Or actually probably 3 blowouts where San Antonio won 4-0 and San Antonio won 3. And in 2018, each team had a 3-0 win at the Orange County had 2 3-0 wins against San Antonio. Outside of that, most of the games have either been draws or one goal games. So to me, these two teams, I think both on and off the field are very close, very similar in nature on how they try to be leaders within the USL Championship, especially in the Western Conference. And both of the fan bases, while we chirp at each other a little bit, are very respectful to each other. But on the pitch, I have seen some fun shenanigans for that take place, and I'm looking forward to another one. Although I hate the late night on a Wednesday, because that means I won't be going to bed till super late. So thank you for kind of training me tonight, so that way for tomorrow I can be used to staying up at this late, because it'll be just wrapping up about now, right? For that here,
about
so
14 minutes from now, should be all finished. So get your coffee in. I was going to say Midwesterners, but Texans, I think, is just a more accurate term. Something about the Alamo. I don't know.
I guess me saying Oregon is kind of like California is the same as saying Texas is Midwestern.
It's probably more the South than anything else. I'm sure I'll find out soon enough. Harry, thank you for joining us here. We appreciate it. Welcome back to the Orange and Black SoccerCast. And as you leave, where can people find more of you?
So you can find us on the show under SAFC Fancast. That's the one where we focus mainly on San Antonio FC news. We also do high school under SA Soccer Roundtable, although that's wrapping up this week with the state finals starting on Thursday. Not that you guys care about that in California, but for that here. And then for me, since my Ramincol got hacked and unfortunately Elon said, hey, I can't find you, I did go to Ramincol Soccer for that here as far as on X. I do believe I have the blue sky, but I'm not as active on there as I thought it would be. But no, it's always a pleasure to be on here. I know Ray and I have talked, Dylan and I have talked, Larry and I have talked, not a lot. Brad, I know he was scared to see me because going back to his Reno 1868 days for that here. So always a pleasure to come on. And obviously, Matt, first time being with you. And I'm glad you had Chris go first and had the better away guest come on second here. So I do thank you guys for that.
I will always appreciate how you Texans and New Mexicans just love to constantly take little bits out of each other. Harry, thanks again for joining us. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks,
we are rapidly approaching the finish, but really quickly, could we talk about this most recent kit?
I love it.
Matt loves it. Larry?
I am undecided at the moment. There are things I like about it. I don't like that orange stripe around the collar. It doesn't work for me because it brings back the memory of a creamsicle. So I'm not a huge fan of that part. Overall, it's not bad. Not 100% sold on it just yet, though. Let's see if we can get a W wearing it this weekend or wearing it tomorrow or whenever, anytime. I don't care. Just freaking score a goal and let's win.
I like that part of it. It's called the After Dark kit. Thank you, producer Andy. I couldn't remember, and I was honestly at this point just kind of blanking as to about what it really looked like. I don't
Orange
love
County
that
After Dark.
Usually you have to pay extra for that. Usually it looks something like the Crash Out Pod. Anyway, I don't love that the crest isn't on this one.
Yeah,
but all the same, I really don't care
Fight
if
you
you're
over
straight.
that. You're wrong.
It's fine. I'm happy to be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. That's kind of the whole thing about the show, is that it's just pretty much 4 people constantly being wrong somehow all of the time.
3
What I am very excited for, somehow, some way, there is apparently a long sleeve version of this, which I think, outside of a goalkeeping kit, would be the first time that Orange County's ever had a long sleeve. Well, I can actually definitively say it would be the first time that Orange County's ever had a long sleeve kit, and that would be pretty sweet. I would look past a handful of things for that.
We live in Southern California. We don't need long sleeves.
It doesn't matter. Producer Andy.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that you struggled with knowing if there was a long sleeve kit or not, based on how much work you put into that kit article that's on orangeandblacksoccercast.com. Just encouraging folks to go out there and read, check it out. There is some wild stuff from the OC Blues days, like the side flank sponsor. I mean, how many times have you seen that?
You absolutely murdered my segue, which, to be fair, was not really going particularly well. So thanks, producer Andy. But yes, Nathan, who you may know from having been on the show a handful of times. I see you, Larry. Give me just a sec. Nathan went through this offseason and did far too much research and wrote a ton about every single kit that Orange County has ever worn in its existence. And this included one that someone probably has technically seen before, but certainly was forgotten about, as in 2013, the then LA Blues wore this pale sky blue with a white stripe down the left side in a one-off time. So please go through and read this. It is absolutely incredible. And in a few days' time, you'll get to hear what Nathan has to think about all of these ones. Unsurprisingly, the Hummel ones are most highly thought of. Larry, please.
Yeah, you know what? We're running really short on time, but I want to ask the two of you a question, and just give me a fast HE, like 20 seconds. What is the key tomorrow night for Orange County to get 3 points? What and who? Dylan.
Probably scoring a goal. So why not Ryan McKinnon? If it's gonna have to come from a wide space, I think it's gonna have to come through someone like him.
Matt?
I'd like to see Jameer Johnson back, and I'd like to see Hagar move to a more central position.
Okay.
Brad would like to say that scoring is the key, and the ball is the most important part of that one. It might actually be, in fact, the goal line and or the net, depending on how you view the sport.
Brad going with the deep cut right there.
Even from, I was going to say the grave. He's not dead. He's just not on the show tonight. Even from the greater ether, he haunts us. Thank you, Brad. Finally, we've reached everyone's favorite time in the show. What did you learn tonight? / if you have a random thought, please just go ahead and share it. Larry, did you learn anything? Have you ever learned anything? Please enlighten us.
I can't say that I necessarily learned anything, but my final thought is I'm so glad that a civilization wasn't destroyed.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, I was trying to think of some way to say that as well, Larry.
Oh boy, everybody take another 2-week deep breath.
Please, Ducks. Come back and win this game, and also at least win a couple of these next 5 games, and do not keep slipping.
Such as the Orange County way, unless you're, of course, Orange County Soccer Club, in which case it's have a rocky start to the season, and then sometime about late July, figure out that you, in fact, do want to make the playoffs again. And just start climbing up the table. So we don't panic until August, and I'm going to hold us all to that. For Chris, for Harry, for Matt, for Larry, for producer Andy, and myself, this has been the Orange and Black SoccerCast, and we are out.